Start by understanding what a disaster really means. A disaster is an event, either sudden or slow, that disrupts the normal life of a community or society. It causes loss of life, property damage, environmental harm, and economic losses that go beyond what the affected community can handle on its own. In simple terms, a disaster happens when a hazard, like a flood or earthquake, strikes vulnerable people and leads to severe damage. Nepal, with its fragile Himalayan geology and steep terrain, faces multiple hazards such as earthquakes, floods, landslides, forest fires, and glacial lake outburst floods. These events have shaped the country's history, highlighting the urgent need for effective disaster risk reduction and management strategies. Understanding disasters is the first step toward building resilience and protecting communities. Disasters are generally classified into two main types: natural and man-made. Natural disasters are caused by Earth's processes and include geological events like earthquakes and landslides, hydrological events such as floods and avalanches, meteorological events like storms and cyclones, climatological events such as droughts and forest fires, and biological disasters like epidemics. For instance, the 2015 Gorkha earthquake and recurring floods in Nepal's Terai region are stark reminders of these threats. On the other hand, man-made disasters stem from human activities. Think industrial accidents, pollution, deforestation, and sociopolitical events like wars or riots. Both types of disasters have left deep marks on Nepal's history, affecting lives, livelihoods, and the environment. Recognizing these types helps us prepare better for the future. Managing disasters isn't a one-time action, it's a continuous cycle. The disaster management cycle includes four key phases: mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. Mitigation involves steps to reduce risks, like building earthquake-resistant structures or afforestation to prevent landslides. Preparedness means planning and training for disasters that can't be avoided, such as setting up early warning systems and conducting drills. Disaster strikes, the response phase kicks in, focusing on saving lives and minimizing further damage through emergency relief and rescue. Finally, recovery is about restoring normalcy, rebuilding communities, and learning from the event to build back better. In Nepal, community-based programs and early warning systems have become vital, especially in flood-prone areas. This cycle ensures that disaster management is proactive, not just reactive. To truly understand disasters, we need to look at the theories behind risk and vulnerability. The pressure and release PAR model explains that disasters aren't just about natural events, they result from hazards pressing against social vulnerabilities like poverty, poor governance, or unsafe living conditions. Imagine a nutcracker. One arm is the hazard, the other is vulnerability, and the disaster is the nut being crushed in the middle. By reducing vulnerability, we can release the pressure and prevent disasters. Avon's risk theory adds that risk depends on consequences, uncertainty, and knowledge. The less we know, the higher the risk. Resilience theory focuses on how well a system, like a community or ecosystem, can absorb shocks and recover. In Nepal, building resilience means diversifying livelihoods and strengthening local capacity, so communities can bounce back after disaster. Nepal's disaster history is marked by devastating events. The 1934 Nepal, Bihar earthquake and the 2015 Gorkha earthquake caused massive loss of life and destruction. Floods like the 1993 Central Nepal flood and the 2017 Terai floods displaced thousands and damaged infrastructure. Landslides, especially in hilly regions, and glacial lake outburst floods (GLOFs) have also left deep scars. Forest fires such as those in 2016 and 2021 destroyed vast forest areas and worsened air quality. Epidemics like COVID-19 added to the country's disaster burden. These events highlight Nepal's high vulnerability and the urgent need for robust disaster risk reduction strategies. Learning from these disasters is essential for building a safer future. Disaster risk reduction (DRR) is all about what we do before a disaster to minimize its impact. It starts with risk assessment, identifying hazards, vulnerabilities, and exposure. Tools like GIS, early warning systems, and remote sensing help map risks and monitor hazards. Structural measures such as earthquake-resistant buildings, flood embankments, and retaining walls physically protect communities. Non-structural measures include land use planning, awareness campaigns, early warning systems, and community-based disaster management. In Nepal, combining these strategies is crucial, given the country's diverse hazards and vulnerable populations. By integrating technology, policy, and local knowledge, Nepal can build stronger, more resilient communities. Global frameworks guide countries like Nepal in reducing disaster risks. The Hyogo Framework for Action 2005-2015 was the first global plan to make disaster risk reduction a priority, focusing on early warning, education, and preparedness. Successor, the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction 2015-2030, emphasizes understanding risk, strengthening governance, investing in resilience, and building back better after disasters. These frameworks encourage countries to improve policies, invest in safer infrastructure, and involve communities in disaster planning. For Nepal, adopting these global strategies is vital for tackling frequent hazards and building a culture of safety and preparedness.